Good tidings, ladies and gentlemen of the Lodge, and welcome back. Today we are talking Octopath Traveler Zero and some new screenshots and information just released by Square Enix for their upcoming release on December 4th. But anyway, before we get into all of that, if you are new here or coming back, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, as we talk all things RPGs here at the Landy Lodge. But okay, without further ado, let's get into it. Again, this is coming to us from rpgsite.net. I will have the link to this article in the description below, so please feel free to go through that if you want to browse this information for yourself. But anyway, here we have from Adam Vitali, Octopath Traveler Zero screenshots, showcase path actions, amity levels, party chat, ocean exploration, and 3 more travelers. So, here they have some links, by the way, for some information previously released by Square Enix. Definitely worth looking over on your own time. But let's get into what was newly announced. Travelers, I believe it would be pronounced Delidia, and she is from the Hunter job class. A hunter who grew up in the deserts of the Sunlands, she takes great pride in the clan she belongs to and wears a light traditional outfit. She is currently searching for her older brother, who is next in line to be clan leader. And here we see a screenshot from her in a snowy looking village saying, "So give me a hand, I need help tracking down my brother." So, pretty simple and straightforward. She looks like a pretty charming character. I mean, who doesn't love a bow hunter looking for their long lost brother? Their ultimate technique is the gift of the Akik. I think I'm saying that right. Perhaps this is her native language or her clan's native tongue. Could be interesting to get into. Lowers physical attack and physical defense of all foes, and raises physical attack and physical defense of all allies for several turns. So that to me tells me that while she's the job hunter class, she might primarily be, or seems to primarily be, a support-based character. Let's get into the next one they've dropped here. This one, I believe we would pronounce it Esper, the Apothecary class. By the way, shout out to Cassie in Octopath Traveler 2, one of my favorite characters. An apothecary herself. So, she, Esper's got big shoes to fill. But let's get into it here. An apothecary who set off on a journey in order to save as many people as possible. He greatly respects his father, who was also an accomplished apothecary, and studies every day in order to live up to that legacy. Alright, looks like Esper here is going to have to rescue his father from the underworld through his apothecary work. Just a prediction. Again, here we have a screenshot where he's saying, "Regardless, with your blood, I was able to formulate a new medicine." His technique is Art of Healing, remove attribute reducing effects of all allies, and grant an ally immunity to status ailments for several turns. So again, another support-based traveler here. And again, there's supposed to be up to 30 classes, 30 travelers, so I'm willing to bet around 10 of them are going to be support-based. But let's move on to our next one. We've got Goodwin, who is the Dancer class. Both playwright and actor, he pursues fantastical stories abounding in adventure. Okay, so he has a direct parallel with one of the tyrants. That's pretty cool. He's one to look out for. Look out for Goodwin, because that gives him a direct parallel with one of the 3 tyrants. But anyway, let's keep going. He was driven out of the city of the arts due to artistic differences. I like him already. And attempted to put on performances at sea, only to meet with a shipwreck. This experience inspired him to take up the name of Shipwreck King. Yeah, Goodwin seems like a guy who's so unapologetically himself. We're off to a good start, Goodwin. We're off to a good start, you and I. He says, "Will you hearken to my tale of a life unusual? As the theater king, I shall amuse you all." Great, he seems just as endearingly cringy as Genesis and Crisis Core. And I mean that genuinely. Ultimate technique, Song of Levin. Deal lightning damage to all foes, and for 2 turns, deal lightning damage to all foes at the start of the turn. Okay, big damage boy here. I mean, who doesn't love lightning magic, right? Who doesn't love lightning magic? All right, this was a cool announcement. Travelers from the original Octopath Traveler. Encounter travelers who starred in the original Octopath Traveler. So I've seen some people indicate that this means they can join your party, But that's not what I'm reading here. The way I'm reading this is they're out in the world able to be encountered. Perhaps they offer side quests. I don't see anything here reflecting that you can recruit them. And I say that because if we look at the next note here, story travelers, new travelers from the main story join you as companions, and perhaps more will join you along the way. So you see here on this bullet point, they're pretty deliberate about joining you, and here they seem to say, and just encounter travelers, not recruit or have travelers join you. So I think some people are getting a little ahead of themselves on that. Over 30 travelers in total make an appearance. Assemble a party that's uniquely yours. That's amazing, dude. Like, that's Chrono Cross level of party member. I think Chrono Cross was an even larger cast, but you get my point. Next, we have a point on path actions. Path actions let you perform various actions on people you meet during your journey. Again, I think this is a pretty similar mechanic to what we saw in Octopath Traveler 2, but it seems like this mechanic is now tied to that trinity of wealth, power, and fame. So, pretty cool the way that was retooled for this. And again, they sort of lay out some of the rules here. For those who value wealth, you can purchase from or hire. Those who value power, you can contend or impress. And for those who value fame, you can entreat and recruit based on your influence. So I think that's pretty cool, man. Again, I sort of love the foundation of this game's philosophy, just between wealth, power, fame, and then freedom, all sort of being roped, not just within the game's narrative, but in the game's gameplay loop and in how you unlock abilities. Again, I just like seeing that consistency. But let's keep it rolling here. And again, we see beautiful looking screenshot. Amity levels. Once you develop the town to a certain level, amity levels become unlocked. Amity levels indicate the level of closeness between the protagonists and their companions. And again, if we look at the screenshot here for that, we see that this effectively is going to be a sort of quasi-affection-based system that you use to sort of build up the network and the relationships in your town. Let's see here. You can raise them by using the Inquire Further path action in Wishvale. Raising amity levels allows you to obtain more valuable items and enhances the capabilities of resident skills. Sometimes special items like a character's favorite food will be needed. See, that's cool too. Every sort of character, every NPC will have their own little unique quirks that, in getting to know them better, allow you to sort of build your relationship with them. I do think that's actually pretty cool to see here. And is this the last point? No, we got a couple more after this. But this point here, I find very intriguing. Party chat refers to conversation events that occur between your companions based on story progression in various situations. So, we saw, this isn't anything new to Octopath per se, but in the previous games, it was limited between 8 travelers, and you could unlock sort of all these different conversations and party chat moments between the combination of those different 8 characters. But now we're in a whole new ball game here, and this is part of what has me so excited for Octopath Traveler 0, is we're not dealing with 8 travelers, we're dealing with 30 travelers. That's a lot of different branching dialogue trees between the different sets of characters. If all 30 characters can uniquely interact with one another in unique, like, party assemblies, this can be really, really cool to see unfold. And of course it says here, if you miss any, you can still view them from the main menu, so take a look whenever you're curious. Adventure at Sea, again, we saw this, in Octopath 2. Looks very similar to Octopath 2 anyway. So, nothing really new there, more just confirming that this mechanic will be available to you in Octopath 0. And then, yeah, they wrap it up here, kind of just letting you know about the demo. And then the last thing I want to share with you guys today before we wrap up is this new artwork they dropped as well, because we are now 8 days from the game's release. And look, I think it looks, I don't know, man. All Octopath artwork, concept, and in-game art looks beautiful to me, but I don't know. I take a look at this shot, and it makes me all the more excited for the game to come. But anyway, you guys let me know what you think. Drop in the comments below. Let me know what you're looking forward to most when it comes to Octopath. Glad we have some more information to chew on to get us through the next week or so while we wait. But anyway, you all let me know what you think out there. Thank you very much for tuning into this video. Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. And I will see all of you beautiful sickos and normies next time.